Welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky middle-aged men share insight on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to our inaugural show on Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. This is our inaugural fantasy football show. We are calling this the Dad Bods Fantasy Fix with myself, my buddy Colin Moderman, and Mike Frisky, and John is here to take up space and make sure we don't break anything as our producer. Real quick, before we get this started, big announcement. We have been lucky enough to be picked up by the Spark Podcast Network. And we are now not just Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. We are brought to you by Spark Podcast Network, Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. Thank you, everyone out there, for all your support, all the fun stuff. Hopefully, we'll have a bigger reach now and a lot of good things to come. But these are the fun things that we couldn't talk about previously. Now, that is enough for me. Mike, I'm going to turn this show over to you as you are the host of the Dad Bods Fantasy Fix.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a mix between Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek, but somewhere in the middle, not quite as smooth. I look more like Drew Carey, the old one from the show, not the one that was like on Price is Right. But hey, we're going to welcome in Colin Moderman, right? Colin is a softball legend who played with Jason and I in the Baltimore area for a while. Colin, how are things in the Windy City out in Chicago?
I was going to say I can't complain, but I can complain about a lot of things. A lot of it due to softball, and I can barely move anymore. My knees are shot. My arm is shot. Like, I go to play catch with my son, and I can throw it like 40 feet. My elbow is just broken. But otherwise, everything else is fine. My body's just falling apart.
Welcome to mid-40s, right? This has been a great phase of life for everybody, right, Jason? I know your body's in peak condition, right, my man?
Oh, yes, peak exactly. No, so, Colin, if you remember us playing softball over the years, like, there was at some point, like, speed was still somewhat of a factor. I actually now, I play with all younger people. I'm like one of the older guys, but I still get on base and all that stuff. I got pinch ran for. Like, that's the ultimate insult for the little guy. Like, the guy that and I used to be good at defense. I don't do that anymore. So really just kind of hit and get on base, and that's it. But it's still fun. I haven't played for a bit, but Mike, you're still playing too, right?
Co-ed. Yep, co-ed softball.
Me
That's
too.
great. Just the level I need to be at a couple nights a week.
Outstanding.
I want to jump a little bit into this fantasy football thing because I am not a fantasy football expert. You know how they do the little Yahoo trophies? I think I'm like whatever is below bronze. I'm not sure what that is as far as the level player I am. I played in a lot of fantasy football leagues. Yeah, that's what it's a blue ribbon maybe. Like hey, thanks for coming.
We call that
I need you guys to tell.
Yes.
Yeah, rotisserie to me is a chicken. I don't even know what that's all about. Dynasty, I'm not sure. I thought that was an old TV show. So I need you guys to help me through some of this vocabulary and get us going. So tell me the different types of leagues I can get into and what the differences are. Colin, can you start with a little bit of what that looks like?
I mean, your general intro to fantasy is just going to be your straight up. I got 11 friends. We're going to go do a single season, a redraft they call it, where you're going to have a draft, get together. Hopefully you're in person. Anymore, we're all states and states apart, so we have to do it separately. But you get together, you have a good time, and you go through and you pick a team made up of different positions and a defense if you're still doing that kind of thing. Yeah, that's your basic redraft fantasy is what your intro level stuff is.
Well,
yes,
Jason, I know there's things like PPR, half PPR, no PPR. Sounds like something out of the stock market. Can you guys give us an idea what all that means?
Yeah, so like just to kind of build on what Colin said too, there's redraft, which is you play for one full season and then that's it. Everything resets after the year. Then there's dynasty or franchise league, whatever you want to call it. Then there's other things called Devy League that brings up like college. With that, those are the main differences. Now, PPR, half PPR, and standard are usually the scoring settings. So standard is which no one uses anymore. I mean, I would say if there's 100 leagues, maybe 2 or 3 will use it, maybe a little more. I don't know. But half PPR means every time a receiver catches the ball or anyone, the receiver, the running back, whenever you catch a ball from the quarterback, it's half a point. PPR is point per reception. So every time someone catches the ball on offense, they receive a point for that. Most leagues now, I think, are going towards PPR. I really only play in PPR, not really by any reason. Just kind of, it's just what all the leagues have gone to these days.
So when you talk about the different types of PPR, half PPR, I assume the PPR leagues are higher scoring because obviously you get the points per reception. How does your strategy shift based on the type of league that you play in?
So it actually, for me personally, does not. It used to. So when I first started playing, you would think you really put that emphasis on that point, right? That like extra point. But you know what? Like if a running back falls in the end zone, like if Derrick Henry falls in the end zone once or twice a game, but yet Zay Flowers has 6 or 7 receptions, but not as many yards, all of a sudden Derrick Henry is much more valuable, right? So to me, it all evens itself out almost within the year. Now, are some guys more valuable because they catch more passes? Yeah, but I think personally, and Colin, I'm not sure how you feel, but it hasn't changed my strategy anymore. That am I going to take some, at least on the top end, as you go deeper into the draft, it might change a little bit because you might get those guys that catch more passes than others.
Yeah, it's that top end is what we're looking at there. Like your guys like Henry, like you mentioned, PPR, he gets a tiny boost. Other guys get more of a boost, but he's got the touchdown difference there usually. It's the lower end where maybe you've got a receiving back that catches 4 or 5 passes a game. So it really evens out the other end of your bench. You've got guys that can fill in on weeks where maybe he only gets 20 rushing yards, and in a non PPR league, that kind of ruins your league or ruins your week.
Right.
But if you catch 4 or 5 passes and get 50 yards, then that's a decent week for somebody.
Well, I assume that you guys are delving into your seasons now and starting to do the research, and assuming that you've done some mock drafts and things like that. And I've heard of a bunch of different strategies, whether it's hero running back, zero running back. Can you guys just talk about what strategy looks like as you go to prepare for a draft?
Yeah.
Colin, why don't we start with you?
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll start with hero running back, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You got these guys like Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs that you're going to take as your main point scorer in the first rounds. And after that first pick, you're going to do mostly wide receiver to fill in for the next 5 or 6 rounds. Maybe a tight end, maybe a quarterback if you're feeling a little spicy, but it's mostly that one running back that's going to carry your team from that point, and then you fill in later with a bunch of guys that might get playing time at running back as the season goes on, where you make some waiver wire additions or somebody gets hurt and you have their bench guy filling in. So
yeah, hero running back, I mean, I've been very successful with that. When we get to like personal strategies on it, I'll kind of get into something that I've kind of modified mine. But there's also zero running back, and that's exactly what it sounds like, right? You just basically you're passing on running back until probably I would say the 5th, 6th, 7th round, and you're just loading up on wide receivers. This is also the guys that then will take maybe a tight end early, maybe even like do the thing that I'm totally against and taking a quarterback early. But or you might just address your wide receiver position depending on how many starting ones and flexes you have. You might just draft a whole bunch of running or receivers before you even draft your running backs. Very risky strategy on my end. What other one am I missing, Colin? There's Hero, there's Zero, there's something else too that I'm missing as well, and I can't remember it. But
there's definitely a balance, right? There's a balanced kind of strategy.
Yeah, I don't know if that one has a name, but just like best player available, if you're gonna look at it that way. I'm sure it does have a name. It looks like Jason is.
I'm gonna look it up. It might take me a minute, but
yeah.
But yeah,
So what I've read, what I was reading, Jason, about the no running back, one I've never really employed, the zero running back. They were talking about how the risk of injury and the way they split the load with all these running backs, like you might not be able to get the juice worth the squeeze from those guys sometimes. Whereas a wide receiver, if they're not injured, they're going to get, if they're a number one or a number two wide receiver, they're going to get the workload, the targets, and those types of things. And that's maybe where that strategy could pay off. I'm not spicy, like Colin said. I don't like to spice it up. I'm afraid. I just take the brand name most of the time when I see it there. What have you guys noticed in your mock drafts? Any tendencies that you're starting to see as you go through the big board and how things are falling, maybe with these running back signing deals and all the news going on in the NFL? Like, what are you seeing going on right now in fantasy world that maybe the listeners could get a leg up on the competition? Jason, I'll start with you.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the ones I was thinking, robust running back. That's when you take two running backs early, right? You're loading up on running back, and you're kind of passing on receiver until a little bit later. And then one is one of the guys I follow has named one superhero running back, where it's like you're taking that one guy. I mean, it's like hero running back on steroids, et cetera. It's like I don't know. I have another one that I'll share with you guys later. But what have I noticed so far? Running back is back, Colin. So back when I first started playing fantasy football, you always took a running back, right? It was Marshall Faulk. It was Adrian Peterson. It was, whoever you fill in the blank, right? Like you went and those guys were drafted and you loaded up on them. And receiver, you kind of fill it in. I'm not sure. Receiver hasn't gone anywhere. But the running backs are top heavy and very intriguing for a hero style running back. At least that's what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Like you can get those top end running backs are going to score you more points relative to the third and fourth kind of tier of running backs compared to the wide receivers where it's a little more of a gentle slope on the way down. So your hero running back strategy, taking them early, you're trying to swing for the fences pretty much. So if you're playing in one league and you really want to win, then chances are you're going to have to go early, go big, and just hope your guy doesn't get hurt, has a good season.
Well, two things there. Gentle slope. I love that, Colin, because as you get older, your knees start to give. And you were talking about throwing, but like if I'm going downhill steep, I'm falling over probably because my quads and my hammies don't work the same way they used to.
Yeah,
and then Jason,
go ahead, Colin. Remember when we lived together and I was going backwards downstairs because of all the problems with my Achilles and everything? Well, that's made a comeback. So I'm back to backwards downstairs. So the
Michael Jackson has nothing on you.
Yeah, the moonwalk with danger aspect in there.
And running backs tend to be top heavy. I mean, they're muscular, right? Right, Jason? I mean,
sure.
They're probably obese according to the BMI because they're so short but so strong. But that's a horrible scale for measuring body weight. But nonetheless, talk about strategy personally for you guys. And maybe talk about maybe how it differs from year to year. I know you talked about a little bit about this year, but maybe last year compared to this year, and then maybe just your overall take on when you go into a draft, like what you're thinking.
Colin, you want to take it first?
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. And this year is like the last few years, it's kind of flipped back and forth between running backs pretty heavy at the top and then wide receivers pretty heavy at the top last year. And this year, it's like Jason had said, back to running back heavy at the top. But the way I usually do it is I set up my first 24 guys in the order that I like them. And then I'm just going to, whichever one is there, I'm taking them at that point. And then once whatever happens, happens. And when I get to the third round, if I've taken 2 running backs already, it's time to start going wide receiver. If I took 1 running back early and then a wide receiver, I'm still looking down my list and trying to make a decision there. But the reason I do that is because, like any fantasy degenerate, I'm not just playing in one league. So if I draft 2 guys in the first 2 rounds of one league, then the next league I like to be risk averse, and I'm gonna probably not take those same 2 guys. There's lots of different ways you can win a fantasy season, but the quickest way to lose one is to have your first couple guys either flame out or get injured. And if you have all your eggs in one basket, then that's a quick way to start paying attention to, I don't know, baseball spring training. That's
I'm not falling for that one again. I have to keep falling for spring training and Orioles, and it just turns it around. Yeah, I'm almost in full agreement there, except for me the difference is this year more than ever. Like, I'd love to say that I have a plan going in, right? But depending on the draft I'm in, it's going to alter it. Like, I'm in some drafts where I'm just like, yep, okay, yep, all right. I'm going to go ahead and take this person because you did something really dumb. But it's like, I'm very patient. I have my plan going in now. Before we used to just get hammered during drafts, right? And then we're like, yeah, I'll take, we're in the 6th round. Yep, I'll take Devontae Adams. So we're like, yeah, he went in the 1st round.
no,
Like,
you owe us a shot, Jason.
right.
Yeah.
I think I've done that that is a shot. Correct. But yeah, so for me, I think if everything went well, I am definitely doing hero running back with a modification to it, and call it what you want. But usually a hero running back means you're going to take your running back in the first 2 rounds. Then you are drafting, in my mind, at least my plan is I'm drafting a receiver until I get to the 6th or 7th round normally, or later. And then I will take the second running back. This year, I'm bumping that up a round or 2. So I'm probably going to take the elite running back in the 1st or 2nd round, depending on where my pick is. Then I'm going to draft receiver all the way up. And then at that point, I'm probably going to take a running back in like the 5th round now. And then after that, receiver. And then, or maybe a running back if someone falls. But the point is, when you have that plan, you're ignoring all the running backs up until that round. Like, you almost need to take the running back sheet and throw it away for a minute and just focus. Because your plan is to now load up on receiver because you have your hero running back already. And that's usually the strategy I like to use.
Well, I guess I have a quick off the topic kind of question for you, just because you started to say you're like the hero running back. When you come up with the list of those types of hero running backs, like, where do you draw the line, and how do you determine where a hero running back is versus who's not a hero running back?
Yep. So anchor running back, workhorse, guys that you like. I almost have, Colin, you might disagree. I almost have 15 guys this year that could be my anchor running back. And it ends, depending on how your rankings are. For me, I think it ends around Josh Jacobs. I don't know if the legal issues are going to be a thing. It sounds like they're not this year. So that's where it ends for me. So that leaves like a whole, like Montgomery and all these other ones that personally I don't want anything to do with. But after that, but so the thing is, out of those 15 running backs, you may still get 2 of them, ironically enough, depending on how your draft falls. So that's where it cuts off for me, Mike. Right now, I have about 15 workhorses that I could put in there.
Colin, how about you? Where do you draw that line?
I mean, for workhorse guy, like hero straight up strategy, like Jason was talking about, it's going to be quite a bit sooner than that. Maybe 5 or 6 guys. So if I draw a late position in the 1st round as my draft, I'm probably not going to go hero running back. I might start off wide receiver, then Jacobs is there in the 3rd or something as my guy, and then back to some wide receivers, and then hitting as many running backs as I can from rounds like 7 to 11. Just getting as much ammunition, I guess, as I can for a hope and a prayer. But looks like Frisky's not moving.
Oh,
too
Mike's.
much at this point.
Oh, and just so you guys, in case you guys are wondering, first of all, Mike is actually broadcasting from a bathroom on vacation, so that's pretty awesome. But we do have to take a quick pause. We want to hear from our sponsors, so we will be back in about 20 seconds.
So Jason, here if we're playing hero league,
Hero
what
running
is-
back strategy.
hero
John.
running back strategy, right?
Perfect.
What is a do and a don't in your book, and then Colin, what is a do and don't in your book?
So if you're doing hero running back, you cannot all of a sudden, like, again, it's a strategy. So you cannot all of a sudden go value based and say, oh my gosh, I have Bijan Robinson because I had the number 2 overall pick. So I took Bijan Robinson. So then all of a sudden the third round comes around. So you took receiver in the second round, and then the third or fourth round, and you're like, oh my gosh, Josh Jacobs fell to me. I'm going to go ahead and take him. Well, now you're all of a sudden in robust running back. So now you've gone outside of your strategy. You have to stick to your strategy. Now you're taking receivers. If you want to jump in and be one of those people that takes tight ends, fine. But you are taking a different position up to that point. Colin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like to have a set strategy going into the draft. I like to let those first 2 rounds go as they may. If I'm robust, then I'm robust. If I'm hero, then I go through that way. But generally, I'm pretty robust.
Yeah, and guys, these are just ideas you kind of want to have. It's never so when you go into your draft, it's never a good idea to say like I have to have these players, and these players. Let the draft fall to you. Crazier things have happened. I mean, last year I took Justin Jefferson, and this is one league that I won the league during the regular season, had the most points, got all the money, and then lost in the semifinals because of injuries. But my third overall pick was Justin Jefferson. Well, ironically enough, that was a poopy year, but I didn't lose my year because one of the best things about this is if you focus really on rounds, Colin, you can correct me, but I'm saying rounds 5 and up or 6 to 10, that's where you win your league. And I ended up with Jonathan Taylor, had a career year fantasy wise. I ended up with JSN, by the way, in the third round. He was the number 1 overall receiver. So it's by doing these things that if you're able to load up on those strategies and do the right thing, you're able to get around a poo-poo year from Justin Jefferson, or if Christian McCaffrey gets injured, something like that. So that's my strategy, John, and all that fun stuff. Let's see here, Colin. What else did I write down here? Oh, so you're in a draft, right? So we're sitting there, you're in a draft with all these amateurs, just kidding, friends. What do you love to see happen? What makes Colin Moderman super happy that happens during a draft?
I mean, depending on the draft, if I see quarterbacks and tight ends starting to go in round 3 and 4, it makes me all excited. But, other than that, if we're playing on Yahoo or on Sleeper or something, and all the picks that people are making, it's within those top 2 or 3 guys that are on the draft board, then I'm like, okay, I can pivot my strategy. I know which guys are going to be gone by the next time I'm up, so I can make the picks that I really want to get if everybody else is being all chalky.
So we know what makes Colin Randy, Mike. He gets all excited and stuff when tight ends and quarterbacks go early. I would agree on that one. And when kickers and defenses get taken before the last 2 rounds, because I'm like, fantastic. There's some other people up here. But those usually, I mean, that doesn't usually happen in like the more advanced leagues and the more expensive leagues anymore. Mike, what
Sorry
else?
about the internet, guys. I'm in Virginia. I'm on location with the family and mess and nothing. Again, you guys who were listening the other night understand Mountainside 165 is not my favorite internet. Sorry about that. But here I am. I'm back. No, I have the pet peeve of and you guys kind of brought this up earlier, the person who never pays attention because they're trying to keep up with their little notebook, or it used to be a notebook, now it's the internet. And they keep calling out guys who are gone and have been long gone. That is the worst. That's the thing I don't like to see. The thing I like to see is what Colin said, when quarterbacks are going early, because that tells me more running backs and wide receivers are going to be available. And the thing I love best is when I have like a list of 5 players and there's only 4 spots between me and the next pick, because I know I'm going to get one of the 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best feeling, when there's a drop off in a tier right where you're at, and you know, hey, I'm going to get one of those guys. And the worst feeling is when you know that's not the case. Like, there's 3 guys that you have, and there's 4 picks between you and the next pick. Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
Very exciting.
But yeah, so sorry, I missed out on what you said. So if I repeat something, I apologize.
No worries.
Yeah, tell me about what you do with quarterback and tight end a little bit. Give me an insight. We talked a little bit about wide receiver, running back, but tell me how you balance tight end and quarterback on your roster.
So for me, and I know from Flo, so I should probably also preface this by saying that Colin is in charge and the commissioner of most of the leagues that we're in together, mainly because he's more organized than everybody else, and also is willing to put in the work. I am not.
Terrifying thing that I'm more organized than anyone.
I know, but you are. That's why
one specific thing. Yes.
Anything sports related, and maybe when we do our contests and stuff, you're great at it. I love it. But so for me, it's as far as quarterback goes, I late quarterback, but I still want a mobile quarterback. I want someone that's going to score with their legs, someone that might break out. I won a league 2 years in a row. The year before last, I took Jaden Daniels in the 11th or 12th round. Last year, I took Drake May in the 11th or 12th round. And massive years, both those years from those guys. And it's because I waited while everybody else was loading up and taking different things like that. I went ahead and just did that. So, I mean, that's my strategy on quarterback, Colin. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're similar, but what do you say?
It's very much the same. Wait. And if we go back to that last question, the worst thing that happens is when you're waiting and there's 11 other teams that have taken quarterbacks, and you're like, all right, I get this number 12 guy that I've been eyeing for a while. And then some idiots start taking backup quarterbacks, and it just ruins your night. But that's fine because you get more guys, and then it falls down. I think last year I got Dak in the next to last round or something like that, and he was a top 5 quarterback. So waiting is definitely what I love to do with quarterback. It changes a little bit if it's super flex. I don't know if we're going to talk about super flex at all tonight, but super flex, I like to get maybe a mid-tier guy, and I guess we should say what super flex is.
Sure. So super flex essentially is you can take there's a different position outside of your flex position, or maybe in place of your flex position, and it allows you to put a quarterback in that flex position to play. And in fantasy football, your quarterbacks could be your highest scorers if you do it right? And depending on your league settings and whatnot. But so it becomes very valuable. So what is your strategy, Colin, as far as if you are in a super flex league? Because I know a lot of folks out here do play super flex.
Even with super flex, I like to wait on QB more than a lot of people. I'll target some of those kind of mid late first, early second tier quarterbacks, like maybe Dak or Herbert or Purdy, kind of that guy. And then my next quarterback is going to be, depending on when other people are taking quarterbacks, but it's going to be a guy with upside later on, like maybe a Kyler Murray or Shuck or Baker, somebody who's got some legs that can make some plays and isn't being drafted really highly at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's with Superflex, if I have the number 1 overall pick, now this is this year, I'm going with Josh Allen. But if I have the number 2 pick or anywhere else, I'm not taking a quarterback. And what I will probably do is wait until the next 10 or 11 quarterbacks come off the board and then I'll take my first quarterback. And then I'll probably take a quarterback immediately after, or maybe I'll wait to the next round, depending on who's still there. But that within that frame, it allowed me then to get, it might allow me to get 2 players before that comes up, but I'm still getting that those big time players in the receiver and the running back. Now last year was different as far as I was concerned. I was like, nope, I want to get quarterback early. I ended up, but it bit me. But the best I've done in a redraft superflex league is when I have waited to take quarterback and I have loaded up on my other positions. Those are the best years that I've had. Mike, did you want us to do tight end too?
Yeah, well, real quick, let me do a follow-up on the quarterback question, then we'll go to tight end. When you are drafting quarterback and you think about drafting one early, where do you draw that line this year? Like, I think I would say Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those kind of, Joe Burrow, are kind of the guys that people are looking at as the top end guys. Where does that list end for you? And where do you start that? Like, where is the highest you would pick a quarterback? Talk about the different types of leagues and maybe the highest you'd pick a quarterback.
Where would I take a quarterback, or where?
where would you have to take?
What advice would you give to take a quarterback? Yes.
I mean, if I give people the advice that I would do, then we're all going to draft the same, right? I just think there are so many quarterbacks out there, and there isn't a huge difference between the top guys, right? Josh Allen's Josh Allen. He's going to score he's going to run in a lot. Still going to be that. I mean, Hurts is going to have the same thing on the goal line, blah, blah, blah. The point is, it's long, so you don't have to go early. If you want Josh Allen, you're going to have to take him in the 3rd round. That's too early for me. After that, like Lamar Jackson, 4th, 5th round maybe, and then that's when they all start going. I would preach to wait. I would look for the breakouts. Tyler Shuck. I would look to, who's the guy that I like a lot? I don't want to tell anyone because all the guys I play with are going to watch the show. Jackson Dart, big on Jackson Dart. So these are guys that are going to run with their legs and also produce. Mike's guy last year, Cam Ward. Like that's a good point. But I mean, for me, I'm not really looking at quarterback to the 10th or 11th round. Colin, I mean, I play with you. I know what you
If I'm in enough leagues, I'll do a Josh Allen early 3rd. If I target him in the leagues where it's a 4-point passing touchdown, something where the rushing is a little bit more of an advantage. Early 3rd, I would take Josh Allen in some leagues. Usually I'm not going to. A lot of times this year, he's not even going to be there in the early 3rd. So I probably won't have him on any teams, but if I had the pick and he was there and it was the right scoring, then early 3rd.
And let me also just say, fantasy football is supposed to be fun. Go get the guys that you want to have, that you want to see them score, that you want to have fun with them on your team. It's with me, I play for money. I want to win. I want to win everything. We do these trivia games and stuff. I got to win. So, but that's not how everybody plays. Some people go get the players that you want. Have fun with this. We're supposed to be having fun.
Well, let's switch gears to tight end just to follow up on that. And, I'm sitting there and running back, wide receiver. It's kind of going off the board, right? At what point I know Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, and those are the guys at the top end right now. And maybe you have a couple sleeper guys, but like, where do you start drafting tight end? What is your strategy? Colin, I'm going to start with you. What's that look like for you?
For me specifically, I'm not going to start drafting those guys early because they're going to go ahead of where I would. But if it was end of the 3rd round and one of those two was still sitting there and I had a couple drinks in me, that's probably where I'd go at that point. But I mean, they're going to be going earlier than that for the most part.
Yeah, I will say that I've always been a punt on tight end type person. I think I'm coming back around towards middle-ish, maybe. when I say that, I mean I'm still not taking a tight end probably within the first 10 rounds. Where I take quarterbacks, probably where I'm going to take tight end. If someone falls, like if for some reason Brock Bowers falls into the fourth round, I might consider it. Same thing with McBride, something like that, but probably not. I'm personally, if I'm going to throw names out there, like people in the range that I might be looking, like I'm huge on Sam Laporta this year. I think that could be a nice steal around that range that you might want to take a tight end. Mike, you're not making notes, right? Because we do have a couple leagues together.
No, no. Laporta is Spanish for the Porta, right? Is that correct?
That's right. You got it. You are the
Okay.
best. You know what to do.
All right. Well, I
same
got
with-
Sam Laporta in the first round. I'm got it written down. That's
Oh
who
my
I'm going
gosh.
with.
This is not
Colin,
what we're
go.
saying.
Yeah, Laporta is
Colin, go
actually
ahead.
one of the guys that I don't want to draft really this year.
Ooh.
Tight end.
Fight.
Tight end is a position that is like old school running back. It's extremely violent for the guys that are the top performers. And guys that are coming off an injury are usually on my avoid list for tight end for the next year. So guys that are so much fun to watch, like Kraft and Kittle and Laporta, just guys that are going to bruise everybody after they catch the ball. It takes a lot to do that, and the year after an injury, I don't think they're going to be ready for the most part. It's going to take them a little while to get back to that style.
But I think it's important to know that when we're talking about taking these guys, we're not talking about reaching on these guys and taking Kraft in like the fourth, fifth, sixth round. If they fall, so I'm probably getting no Tucker Kraft because I'm not taking a tight end that early. Sam Laporta is more my range. The reason there, I like to take players in really good scoring offenses, and Detroit's indoors an awful lot this year, even more than last year. I like that. So for me, it's like, okay, I want high scoring offenses where it's like fanning out in Cleveland. Not too interested. Good player, bad, potentially bad team. It's like Bowers, even though he's on a bad team, he's the only target on that. So if you can think about, are they the main target on their team? And are they on a high scoring team? So that's kind of how I think about it. That's why Colin and I have always kind of differed on the tight end thing, but it's like we're not too far off. We're still in the same
Yeah, I mean,
roundish.
Coming from Iowa, it's legally required to have to enjoy tight ends. So
Fantastic.
Easy with the. I wouldn't say enjoy tight ends on the podcast too often, Colin, but that's okay, buddy.
John, clip that. We need that one.
Hey, one more tight end question for you guys. There's a famous tight end that just got married, I believe, this offseason. Does he have any shot at impacting fantasy football?
absolutely, he's on my list of guys to take late.
All right.
Yeah, Mahomes coming off an injury. He's gonna have his safety blankets, and Kelsey is the biggest one he's ever had. So
You're damn right about him being big, Colin. Did you see the pictures of him? He looks like Taylor's been feeding him about 3 loaves of sourdough bread every single meal.
I mean, when you marry a billionaire, you can kind of do whatever you want with your body.
Even if you're a professional athlete. That's great.
Even if you're a professional.
None of us are speaking from experience. Just let
Right.
you all know.
Oh my
we
gosh.
did whatever we wanted. We just didn't get the marry a billionaire part.
Right. Well, so Travis Kelce, just so people don't realize out there, I mean, he was the number 3 overall tight end last year, I believe. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, did he have a Kelsey year? No. Did he have a very good year as far as fantasy football goes for tight ends? Absolutely. This is probably his swan song. I could be wrong. So, I'm with Colin 100%. I think that's a good move, especially where you're going to be able to get him.
Well, I want to switch gears just a little bit, gentlemen, as we kind of wind down. And I want to look for some player names from you guys, okay? Because we all tune in because we want to know how we get a leg up on our competition. And I need to know your secrets. So the first question is your top 3 potential breakouts you want to leave your draft with this upcoming 2026 season. I'll go one at a time. and then you guys can bounce back and forth. So, Colin, give me your first guy.
All
Right after
quick.
this word from our sponsors.
Woohoo!
All right.
We good? Oh my gosh. All right. Hey, everyone, bear with us. We've never had sponsors before or anything important to say on this show. Usually we've just been able to say whatever the hell we want. Now we have to be strategic. So if we pause, it's because we don't know what's going on yet.
Jason,
All right,
does
Colin.
AA count as sponsors? Is
Yes!
that okay? Is AA okay?
Hold on. I got to take a sip. Wait a minute a second.
Jason, your only cans brought to you by.
Yes, correct. Don't steal it. Don't patent that yet.
All right, Colin, top 3 potential breakout candidates. You pick one for me.
All right. So quick clarification on this. Are we doing is this sleepers? Is this just a breakout guy? Is this, what are we doing here?
So there's going to be a sleeper section potentially if we do it today or another day. This is breakout could win your league type guys.
All right. Well, then that makes this easier for me. I'm gonna say Roma Dunze. He started off last year really hot. I know that
Homer.
Luther Burden is the talk of the town in fantasy circles right now. He's getting moved up draft boards really fast, but I still think Roma Dunze is going to be the guy in that offense that's going to score the touchdowns. Maybe splitting those with Loveland, but Roma Dunze is going to outperform where he's being drafted right now.
Yeah, and minus DJ Moore, right, in Chicago, so he has more opportunity.
Yeah, more targets to go around.
Jason?
That's hard to argue with, man. I mean, especially it's like he's a beast. And then, I mean, that receiving core could be really good. My guy, I mean, I feel like this is cheating, but I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. I think he's got a good shot. Colin, tell me if I'm wrong. I think he's got a shot at being this year's JSN. I think he can finish as the number 1 overall guy. Like if things go, I mean, they got rid of the ball hog and they, so, I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, he puts up giant numbers whenever AJ Brown wasn't in the lineup. So to me, that's my breakout guy.
Yeah, I see him as a definite wide receiver 1. I don't know if I'm going JSN type things with the amount of opportunity he's going to have in that offense, but he's definitely way above where he was last year.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, number 2, and I'm not talking about the number 2.
We already told everyone you were in the bathroom, but that's where you're podcasting from. So that would be
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no toilet paper roll there. I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, I angled the camera so that everybody's in good places.
You think I was going to let you get away with that?
Who's your number 2, Jason?
Oh, man, Colin, I'm sorry. I know this guy's got to be on your list, but Omarion Hampton's on my list as definite. But it makes me a little nervous. Like, I say that because I don't know if I will get him on my team. It might be dependent upon the draft. But Omarion Hampton, for me, has everything. I mean, LA has done everything they needed to make it better for these guys to run, for the quarterback to pass. They've fixed that offensive line. They brought in the right O-line coordinator. To the moon, Omarion Hampton for me.
All right, number 2, Colin.
Number 2 for me, I am going to say Christian Watson. The second half of last year, after he came back from his injury, he was a top 20 on a points per game basis. And another year healthy with him, they got rid of tons of targets out of that offense. So out of the 3 receivers they have there, plus Kraft, I think him and Kraft are going to be the 2 that really step out this year.
I'm so glad that you moved to the Midwest and have fell in love with the NFC North. I'm so happy for you, Colin. Can you give me
the best division in the NFL right now, so it's hard to not be in that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that. Lions are good too, right? Vikings aren't bad. We'll see what quarterback looks like there. What's your number 3, Colin? We're gonna go right back to you.
All right, I'm gonna show my hand a little bit, but Dalton Kincaid he's someone you can get very late in drafts most of the time, but on a per route basis, on a usage basis, he was one of the top tight ends last year. If he can stay on the field, and although the reports I'm hearing are that he is much healthier, and if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, I see top 5 tight end for him this year.
And that's pretty awesome because you might be able, with our tight end strategy, you might be able to get him late, and he could be a league winner. That's pretty awesome. I do agree with that. My last guy is a guy I've already kind of mentioned, Jackson Dart. I think if he didn't get hurt last year, I wouldn't be talking about him being a breakout player because I think he already would have, and he kind of did in parts last year. I think Jackson Dart's a league winner this year. Could do a lot, and you may be able to get him late. I mean, we keep doing these shows, probably not. I mean, I've heard a lot of the national guys have probably talked him into 4 or 5 rounds earlier now, but that is my breakout player, my third.
Fantastic. Well, I haven't taken any notes, mental notes I have taken, but no physical notes. But I will keep those in mind. And these guys, I will tell you, as someone who participates in their fantasy football league, they tend to be at the top end of our league year in and year out. So you're getting some good advice. It's not like John and I are out here spitting stuff at you, and you should probably just take it and wipe it with that little paper that's over here in the corner where I'm sitting. So these guys know what they're talking about. Guys, we're about to wrap up for the night. I guess at this point, we're a couple weeks away from most fantasy drafts, probably, I'd say. What are some kind of parting words? What should we be doing at this point? What research? What should I be doing as somebody who wants to get better at fantasy football?
I think the main thing is just consume fantasy football knowledge, listen to podcasts. I have an hour plus on the train every day where I have stuff I can do. So I have tons of time to listen to podcasts. Everybody doesn't have the same amount, but find one that you enjoy and listen to it. And you don't have to agree with them, but I mean, at least you're being exposed to the knowledge at least.
Yeah, I would agree with Colin. I mean, I have during football season, I have probably about 4 or 5 in the hopper, and I turn my podcast to 2 times the speed, and I just go through them. And it's about a 45-minute to hour drive to take my daughter to school, and then same back. So I get the majority of that done on that. But yeah, at this point too, just think about what your plan is. What's going to be your strategy, but also have your pivot strategy. Know that, hey, look, at this point in the draft, I want to make sure that I have this many running backs and this many receivers, and kind of plan out and if you feel like having fun with it, tier your own players. What I've always done up to this point when I get my rankings is I use my own insight, but then I take about 3 or 4 of the guys out there that I love listening to, and I check their rankings. And then I kind of decide who's going to fall in there. So they're not all from me, but they're from people within the industry that are a lot smarter than I am and do this full time. So just start preparing, and don't forget, have fun with this. This is supposed to be fun, but also try to make some money.
Let me ask you guys this. One question from me.
Oh boy.
What is the worst punishment that you could possibly get for losing the league? This time of year, we see all of these videos on TikTok and Instagram and things of just crazy things. Out of all the videos you've seen, Colin, we'll start with you. What is the worst punishment that you could be forced to do?
Well, since I've already stated how poorly my body is performing at the moment, the beer mile is a terrible, terrible idea, where you run 400 and then drink a beer and then run another 400 and drink a beer until you get to a mile and you just die and vomit everywhere.
Oh,
ooh, that does not sound pleasant.
No.
Look, dude, I mean, I've been around you for quite a while. I've played a lot of sports with you. I mean, I've never really seen you run except from 60 feet, 60 feet, 60 feet. So I think you could do the beer mile.
Come on, give me
but I think you can do the beer mile because I don't think you're really going all that fast.
I'm
Yeah.
too competitive not to go fast.
Oh,
That's
there you
the
go.
problem.
There's the problem. I get it.
Yep.
I saw one once where this sounds terrible. The last place person had to like line up, take his shirt off, and get pelted by paintballs. Everyone got one shot. But I couldn't remember if it was all at once or if it was like one by one. That sounds terrible. As he stands there. That sounds god awful. I would never want that to happen.
I do have one more that I think Frisky would enjoy.
Oh boy.
I saw someone had to go out and play a round of golf with strangers, but they had no ball. They had to pretend hit for the entire round. And act if they asked them about it, they had to say, "Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's just I'm working on my game," or "This is completely normal." They couldn't give any information about it.
That's the best.
Oh,
That's not the worst. That's
I think I
awesome.
would like that though. That's fantastic.
I might actually shoot a good golf score if I didn't have a ball to hit. That'd be great.
I mean, I don't know. I do most of the things, but like anything financially, like if the last place person has to like pay more, I feel like that would hurt me more than wearing a weird shirt or having to run a weird distance or pretend to play golf. Like I think that would be the kicker for me.
You would be okay with taking your shirt off and letting all of us shoot you with a paintball. That sounds so painful. I've been hit with like multiple sweatshirts on and that shit hurts. Let alone this.
Jason,
I don't
we just
want
got
it,
put,
but I would
into
do
the
it.
explicit category again.
That was the point. We need to get in there. We got it. Woohoo!
All right. Hey, let's get this rodeo under control. John, we have, I guess, a new platform and that kind of thing. So we won't do our outro tonight. Why don't you just tell everybody kind of how to find us nowadays?
Yeah, so you can find us on Apple and anywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at DadBods Crab Cakes and Sports. You can find us on X at crabcakes_sports and then at sparkpodcast.com. You can go there and check out your favorite sports podcasts, find us and lots of other very creative people on there. So we're brought to you again by the Spark Podcast Network, and we thank our sponsors, and we thank Colin for coming on using his Friday night in his unair conditioned room, and but he's only got a weekend or two of summer considering he lives in Chicago, so you know he only has to suffer a couple weekends.
Yeah,
then it'll be snowing
right around the corner. So,
yeah. You'll be good.
Well, tune in on Friday nights. We're going to update you guys with the latest and greatest fantasy fix, the DadBods Fantasy Football Fix. And for Colin and Jason and John, thanks for tuning in tonight. Don't miss our next episode next Friday. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us.
And join us tomorrow night for our regularly scheduled episode of DadBods Crab Cakes and Sports, where we'll talk about the Ravens, the Orioles, and whatever else comes to mind. Perhaps those two gentlemen who decided they wanted to go play in the WNBA. Perhaps we'll bring up some interesting topics. So please join us.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.